How do you make a short video longer for YouTube? So there are a lot of benefits to having your videos be longer. We'll talk about what those benefits are. And if you make a longer video, what can you do to have people watch the entire video? Because if they leave early on, having a longer video will actually hurt you. And in fact, I'm going to teach you 3 different things that you can do that will make a longer video much easier to do and much more enjoyable to watch. So let's dive right in. So we're going to start out this video with a discussion of why you want it longer, okay? And then I'm going to demonstrate and show you a real example of an outline and what I did to add content to it to make it a longer outline. And then I'll share some other tools that you can do as well. So the reason you want a longer video is YouTube loves watch time. That's the biggest thing that they want. They want people to spend more time on YouTube. So if you have a longer video, that'll obviously do that for YouTube, and YouTube will reward that. Now, for those of you that are interested in advertising revenue, the more time people watch on your video, the more ads YouTube can show. And so you'll make more money that way. But other reasons is longer content is trending better. It performs better. So on the YouTube channel, Nate and Kara, they do a lot of travel adventures. They've been to like 108 countries. Well, Nate, he also has developed a passion for running and like extreme marathons. You'll see that that episode is 96 minutes long. And that is kind of the norm on that channel now when they do a big adventure, a big challenge like that, to have a really long episode. But it wasn't that way years previously. There's another series of videos that they did where they had a group of them and 2 other families that biked across the United States. They had these triple tandem bikes, and the husbands and wives would take turns biking every single day, and they biked from the Pacific Ocean all the way to the Atlantic Ocean over the course of a month. If I remember right, it was like 5 different episodes. But according to YouTube's algorithm now, if they were to launch that same episode today, they would just make it all one long episode. Longer content performs better. If you have content in series, what they've reported, creators like Nate and Kara, is that episodes later on get less and less views. And so if they don't want their views to drop, they just now combine it all into one long episode. Now, let's come back to the type of content that I create, which is how-to educational content. All my clients create this. A lot of my clients are like real estate investor educators or construction consultants or politician consultants or parenting consultants, so on and so forth. We're teaching, we're giving a lot of information. Now, the content that we create, it answers people's questions, and they're very specific questions. And when we make a video that's 10 minutes long, that gives us enough time to go into real great depth and give them a thorough answer. If we just give a short answer, or if we were to create YouTube Shorts, that's not enough time to really build a relationship, and it's time enough to give a quick answer, but not go deep. Well, the whole goal for our videos is to build a relationship. We want people that are searching for our help to find us and see us as the expert that can help them. And so where we might look at a topic and say, wow, I could answer that in 2 minutes. Why would I want to make a 10-minute episode? Well, if you can convince somebody that it's going to be valuable for them to spend 10 minutes with you or 12 minutes with you, then you have a lot more time to build that relationship, for them to learn your strengths, your weaknesses, including your biases, and they'll decide if they want to follow you or not. And because they're probably ready right now to learn about your services, they'll schedule a call with you. So compared to those adventure travel vlogs, we don't need to go for 90 minutes. But when you talk about length, if your video is 2 minutes long, yeah, there's some reasons why you'd want to make it 10 minutes or 12 minutes long. Okay, you're looking at an actual outline from a video that I filmed earlier today, and the title of it is How to Loop a Chapter in YouTube. So you'll see my outline here. This is the one that I actually filmed from. So this is the part of the video where I actually demonstrate that. I demonstrated it on my laptop, I demonstrated it on my phone, and I recorded that. And in total, to show how to loop, it doesn't take very long. It might have been 90 seconds or 2 minutes or something like that if I really talked people through it and why you might want to loop it. But if I'm wanting people to spend 10 minutes with me on the video, or at least make the video longer than 2 minutes. So here's what I did. I asked myself, and I actually asked ChatGPT, people that want to know how to loop their video, what else might they want to know? Are there other features that I can show them that would be helpful to that same person? So I also came up with, maybe I'll just show them the way that I use playback speed controls. Maybe I'll show them how to skip ahead and how to do it on an iPhone. Then I can demonstrate that on how to do that on a desktop. And then there's some additional features that I love about YouTube Premium, so I outlined those down here. So do you see how I grabbed some additional content to pack into that video? Even though the title of the video is how to loop a chapter in YouTube, there's actually 3 or 4 different things that I'm teaching in the video. So how do I introduce that? Let me now transition to talking about hooks. You'll see that I actually script out some hooks. I don't script the content of my videos. I don't recommend that you script out your content either, but your intros and your calls to action, feel free to script those out. So as I began filming this episode, I started out restating the title. I let them know, hey, I'm going to show you how to loop a chapter in YouTube. But then I let them know, hey, I'm going to show you several things that are really cool that you might not have known how to do on YouTube. So you're going to learn how to loop a chapter on both mobile device and a laptop. I'm going to show you some great uses for playback speed control and some keyboard shortcuts. And I'm going to show some premium features that you may not know about, but that will help you decide whether you want premium or not. So I would start out the episode letting them know, yeah, I'm going to cover the question you're asking, and I'm going to cover that, and I'm going to cover that. Let's dive right in. So now they're expecting you to cover 3 different things. So that's something I regularly recommend that you do to make your video longer. Another thing that you can do is to tell a story. So if answering the question of your video, let's say there's 5 points, and you can spend a minute or so on each point. Okay, now you've got 5 minutes of content. You can actually tell stories of actual people and actual implementation of those 5 points. Another great thing about telling stories in your video is it's engaging. It pulls people in. It helps it apply to them. People can actually see these principles in action. Something else you can do is to show visuals. So I love showing recordings of my screen called a screen capture. You can include B-roll, or you can use a flip chart. You can use objects or anything if you want to draw something out. Visuals can also help you add time to your video, make your video longer in a way that makes it more helpful and more engaging. People will remember it more. So there's one thing that I want to recommend that you don't do. Okay, and I'll actually tell you this in the form of a story. So Grant Thompson, he owned the channel King of Random. He was the King of Random, but he passed away a few years ago. And we really miss him. I really miss his content. His channel was so fun. So he would make a video. I'll just give you an example. He learned how to make his own model rocket engines. And he showed how to make this with gunpowder and different materials so he could make his own engines. So he would go through the video and he would talk about, okay, here's all the steps, here's what you do. And then he'd get to a point and he would do a review. He would say, here's what we covered in this video. We did this, we did that, we did that, we did that, we did that. When he was looking at the analytics, he would see a big drop off at the point where he gave a review. And if he had any other content or anything else that he shared in the video, people would never see it. Now for us, that's pretty key. We want people to stay for the last few seconds of the video because that's where we give our main call to action. And so I took a lesson from that when I had this conversation with Grant, that you don't want to ever review. If people want to review, we can rewind. We can just click back and we can watch the parts over that we want a recap of. So my recommendation is not to try and lengthen your video by reviewing what you talked about and talk about what you already talked about. So just pay attention to that. Be careful of that. Look at the analytics of your videos and see if there's anything like that you're doing that's causing a drop off. Now I want to introduce a new topic for you that's probably going to be of interest. It's a little bit of a different topic. Now in this day of AI, there's these new buzzwords, answer engine optimization and generative engine optimization. One of them can be extremely helpful for you to use on YouTube for lead generation. The other one is actually a hindrance to you. So it's really important that you understand the difference between AEO and GEO. I'll link to another video right there. By the end of that video, you'll have full clarity and you'll know how you can really leverage this and how you can take advantage of this cutting edge strategy on YouTube. I'll see you then.